I ran for the presidency because I think it's time to take our country back. Because I think we need real reform. Because we have too much economic and too much political power concentrated in the hands of too few people. And I ran because we need a real constitutional conservative serving in the White House. Last Tuesday, we had a primary. And I walked into the ballot box and I looked at the ballot and I saw my own name on the ballot. It was kind of a thrill. But then I checked the box for Ted Cruz, and I'm here to tell you why.
That was former Republican presidential candidate Carly Fiorina yesterday at her surprise endorsement of Senator Ted Cruz, and she joins us now live from Coral Gables, Florida. Carly, great to see you again.
Good morning, Mika. How are you? Hi, Joe.
Good. We got a little bit of a delay. Let's start off now, first of all, asking you what led to your decision? What were the issues you had to weigh when it came to coming down to endorsing Ted Cruz?
Well, you know, I weighed them in the voting booth when I voted in the Virginia primary. And I thought, why did I run? Because I think we need a conservative. Because I think we need someone who will actually challenge the system, a system that favors the big, the powerful, the wealthy, the well-connected, and doesn't work for the rest of us. Because I think we need someone who isn't afraid to take on the vested interests. And Ted Cruz is that guy. And importantly, he also can beat Donald Trump, and Donald Trump needs to be beaten at the ballot box before we can go on and beat Hillary Clinton.
Is there any other way to sort of stop the Trump train, if that's something one would be interested in? Because you mentioned at the ballot box as if that was important.
Well, of course it's important. You know, the Republican establishment thought it knew what to do after we lost in 2012, and you know, their prescription was, let's pass comprehensive immigration reform, let's stop talking about the social issues, let's not rock the boat in Washington. Those were all exactly the wrong prescriptions, and so citizens, voters, Republicans have stood up and said, no, that isn't the way we think we need to go in this country, and the voters are right. Here's the thing about Donald Trump. He and Hillary Clinton are two sides of the same coin. Donald Trump is the system that needs to be reformed. Hillary Clinton is the system that she claims she will reform. Hillary Clinton has made her millions selling access and influence from the inside of that system, and Donald Trump has made his billions buying people like Hillary Clinton off. They're not going to reform the system, they're going to defend the system. But the only way to beat them is not with establishment leaders tisking about voters' choices. The only way to beat Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton is at the ballot box, by providing real solutions in their lives that are going to matter and work.
Mike?
Ms. Fiorina, before we get to the ballot box...
Hi, Mike.
How are you? You're looking good.
Good.
Before we get to the ballot box, the language and the conduct of several of the candidates, specifically Mr. Trump, has been bothersome to a lot of people during the course of this campaign. Do you believe that the candidates who are left, including your candidate now, Senator Cruz, do you believe that they have an obligation, perhaps even a moral obligation, to speak out about the language and the tenor of this campaign that emboldens so many people across this country to believe things like Islam does hate us?
You know, one of the things, Mike, that I said frequently on the campaign trail is I believe character is revealed over time and under pressure. And I think Ted Cruz's character has been revealed because never has he gotten down in the gutter. Never has he hurled personal insults. Never has he attacked groups of people. And yes, I think the language is very important. And I think what Ted Cruz has demonstrated is that he is always going to stick to the issues, to the substance, that he is going to appeal to our better angels, not to our demons. And I think that is important. A lot of other candidates, two in particular, who will be on the debate stage tonight, have gotten down in that gutter. And I don't think it's helpful to our party, and it is not helpful to our nation. We need to unify our party, and we need to unify our nation.
Bianna.
It's Bianna Goladriga. Good to see you. At the last Republican debate, the four remaining candidates... I'm well, thank you. At the last debate, the four remaining Republican candidates were asked point blank if Donald Trump were the nominee, would they support him? They all said yes. If, in fact, Donald Trump becomes the Republican Party's nominee for president, would you support him?
Well, look, I've said all along that I'll support our Republican nominee, but here's a news flash. The media has given Donald Trump more airtime, all outlets of the media, more time than anyone else combined, I guess, because all of you think he is going to be the nominee. Here's the thing. You don't make the call. The voters make the call. And while Donald Trump had a good week this week, here's the thing. We have, I don't know, 40% of the delegates still left. So I'm going to spend all my time talking to voters about why this is an important choice and why it's their choice. Not the media's choice, not the establishment's choice. This is their choice.
I don't think the media thinks it's their call. I mean, if you look at the interviews with Donald Trump, I'd say over the next past month, let's just try and pare it down to that, because there have been many. I'll give you that, because he goes on any show he can get on. But I think he's been asked the questions, Carly. I think he's been asked the tough questions. I really do. And it's his answers that apparently the voters are okay with.
Well, look, I totally agree with you that the media is finally starting to ask Donald Trump some tough questions. It's also true that every single media outlet covered his entire news conference on Tuesday night live and did not even mention the fact that Ted Cruz edged out John Kasich for second place in Michigan and won Idaho. It's also true that we need to make sure that we provide real solutions to voters' lives. Why are voters voting for Donald Trump? It's not because the voters are stupid. It's because Donald Trump is lying to them. Well, the big lie Donald Trump is telling is that he's going to reform the system. He's not going to reform the system. He is the system. He's going to keep the system going that favors the big, the powerful, the wealthy, and the well-connected.
Yeah,
and voters are fed up
I get that,
with the establishment telling them what to do.
And it's it sounds good. I'll tell you this, though. He's being asked about Islam, and his answer is out there. He's being asked about Muslims and a ban on Muslims, and his answers are out there. And I know you said the voters aren't stupid. I'm certainly not saying the voters are stupid. I'm just telling you that in some exit polls, I think it was 66 to 70% of voters agree with the Muslim ban. I mean...
Well, you know, Mika, people are afraid, okay? Look, President Obama and Hillary Clinton are okay. Let me just turn it around. They're okay with protests that shout, you know, fry the pigs like bacon, but they don't ever comment on cops getting assassinated in their own cars. Does that mean that every Democrat hates cops? I don't think so. So I think if you're fair-minded, there is appalling rhetoric on both sides. I will never defend Donald Trump's use of rhetoric. He's wrong. But there has been a lot of divisive rhetoric, and the Democratic Party has participated in that divisive rhetoric for the last 8 years. And it's one of the reasons why we have a divided nation, not a unified nation.
Yeah, I think you're conflating two really different things, and not fairly so, about the Obama White House in terms of police officers.
Really?
Really?
I don't know.
For the sake of this argument, for the sake of this argument, you have Donald
Trump, like this administration doesn't have their back.
I've never seen the President of the United States, Barack Obama, go out and say more divisive things than this candidate. Like purposefully divisive, purposefully not true. Okay? Let's not.
I'm not going to defend Donald Trump.
Them.
I am not defending Donald Trump.
Well,
I'm not defending Donald Trump. Donald Trump needs to be beaten at the ballot box.
Would you vote for him in the fall? Would you vote for Donald Trump? For President of the United States?
Here's what the media always does. With all due respect, you guys keep asking hypotheticals. It's March. Don't ask me a hypothetical. We'll see what happens. on Tuesday in Florida. We'll see what happens in this election. But we got a long way to go between now and November. And I'm going to spend my time in the next couple months making sure that Ted Cruz, not Donald Trump, is the Republican Party nominee.
And just, we did this before. Do you agree, or would you call Donald Trump out for saying that Islam hates America?
You know, Mika, I have said from the very beginning, from the moment Donald Trump jumped into this race, I said, and took a lot of heat for it, Donald Trump does not represent me, and he does not represent my party. So I'm clear and on the record on this. I'm here to make sure that Donald Trump is not our nominee and that Ted Cruz is.
Carly Fiorina, it's always spicy. Thank you very much for coming to the table this morning. Thanks for being on.
Thanks.